This is definitely going to be split up at the bottom of here, and gaps will be opened.
Well, it's that same very short climb coming up that they had once as well, unclassified. Following that, we've got less than 10 kilometres until the start of the final climb. Remember that start of the final climb coming with just under 3Ks to the finish. Go into that big sharp right turn, and oh dear, oh dear. Damon Arendsman is not having much luck.
What's happened with that? Is it a front wheel puncture? Must be.
He's going to be out the game, isn't he? 11Ks to go here, Adam.
Yep, 11Ks to go, and I don't think that was his teammate either. It looks to be Shimano.
Oh, well, I can understand why he's angry, because this has happened a couple of times this week for him. Not the first time it's happened. It was the other day, the Alto de Foya, where he had to take a teammate's bike, actually. He had to take Laurens de Plus's bike, and then Michał Kwiatkowski helped him back on. So you've got to feel a little bit for the Dutchman who joined the team not so long ago. And this week, well, it's looking difficult for him to perform a miracle to get back on here and to be involved in the finale.
I can confirm that Tom Southern is not in the team car, and he's just sent me a picture of where he is, and it looks beautiful.
Elaborate a bit more?
I don't want to elaborate too much and get him in trouble. That's probably going to get him in trouble, isn't it?
Sorry, Tom. Have a good time anyway. 11Ks to go, and Matteo Trentin's having a good time at the front. He is battling. 24 seconds with the two out in front, just ahead of him. Milan van Wilder's still got one rider with him. He's got a rider up the road as well, and they're following.
Yeah, you can see Court there, just not going too much into the red, just sitting in that, on that tempo that he knows. He's not trying to follow the other riders, he's just doing what he knows, and he probably knows that he'll be with them at the top of this climb. Garner looking to do a similar thing behind, staying within himself.
Cyril Quickstep and Milan van Wilder, they're sitting in there, sitting right on the wheel of Laurens de Plus. 95 just behind him, Oscar Onley, the young Scotsman in the black jersey for DSM. Magnus Cort watch a little further back here behind Warren Barguil. Just in front of Barguil you can see Tobias Foss. Also there is Nicola Conci, blue jersey. Short climb this, but really steep.
Yeah, this is catching quite a few people out here, down to 12 seconds now as well. The damage that Trentin's doing. How long will he be able to keep going on over the top from here, though? And who else is going to be able to do it with him?
Well, the victims of Trentin's pulling at the front are on the screen now, and he's nearly brought two more victims back. Kobe Goossens and Remy Cavagna. These two were going brilliantly. Look at the work that Trentin's had to do on this climb. He's destroyed these guys' advantage.
He has done. He's brought that right down, and very, very quickly indeed. Within a kilometre pretty much he's brought that back. So there's a reason why we're seeing riders go out the back, seeing riders suffering. And when you see a gap from 30 seconds, 20 seconds down to pretty much caught within the space of a kilometre, you know that they're going quickly.
Old Christian Eiking out the back. Tony Galopin, not Maxime Montfort, but Tony Galopin is out the back there for Trek Segafredo. And we're approaching now the final 10 kilometres of the fourth stage of the Volta Algarve. I was just looking behind as well. There were a couple of UAE riders looking back to see where Joao Almeida was. And Trentin was riding so well that he was putting his own leader under pressure there.
Wow. They're probably worried about him. See if he's up near the front on this downhill. We know that Trentin can go downhill very quickly, and we know Almeida's not the most confident descender, so they're probably trying to move him up before the downhill.
$10Ks to go. They are flying in Portugal today. It's Trentin piling on the pressure. They have the Portuguese champion in their ranks to UAE Emirates. Finn Fisher-Black to support him towards the end, but it's Matteo Trentin who's brought back a really strong attack from two really good riders. Kobe Goossens, 2 times a winner already this year. Remy Cavagna, a top time trialist who can climb. both brought straight back after having over 30 seconds of a gap and starting to trouble the general classification teams.
There's a split there in the peloton, back to one of the UAE riders as well. So Trentin on the front, dropping teammates, dropping bombs. His teammates getting back in. And the two riders have definitely been caught. Yeah, there's Cavagna and Goosen, sorry, on the back of that group.
Kevin Vermaak is still in there in the black jersey at the back here, the American for DSM. Oscar Onley's their climber though. Shown more good form. And there is Magnus Cort. Now then, what's the goal here for Magnus Cort today? Is it survival and keep in touch as much as possible with the time trial tomorrow, or can he be more ambitious again?
I think survive, stay within that touching distance for as long as you can. I think if he can get to the top and he might lose 10 seconds, whatever it might be, he might be able to get that back in the time trial tomorrow. So it's important that he does that and not just recognise I've been dropped, that's it, I'm over and out. But I think to win on this terrain, I'd happily eat my own words, but I don't think he can do it. I just think it's a little bit too steep for him. I think the riders are going to go a little bit, the pure climbers will come out a little bit more. But
first,
I'm so happy to be wrong about that as well.
Well, it's 2.5 kilometres long roughly, isn't it, the Alto de Mollao? The first 1.5, 2 kilometres are all above 10% gradient. And then you've got that 7-8%, so it doesn't exactly flatten out to the top. It gets a little easier. This is a really hard climb, even though it's short. And we've got this sort of undulating run into it now. The riders who are setting the pace at the front are going to make it as difficult as possible for everyone else. Now look at the job that Medhawi Kudus is doing here for his team leader. Moving Magnus Cort right to the front again.
That's where he's got to be, just place him in his best position possible, and that in this case is probably more towards the front. He can sit near the front on the climb when the climb starts. If he's sticking to his tempo and not responding to attacks, etc., he'll be able to slide back a little bit, slide back down the peloton, do 20-30 watts less maybe than whoever else is trying to ride fast on the front, and then hopefully able to save enough to then sprint at the end after if he's still within that group. But Kudus doing a fantastic job of protecting him, because they are the only two in there, I think, from EF now.
Last year's stage winner Sergio Higuita here is still sitting at the back. Not had the best week form-wise. You could see him the other day just explaining to his teammates that he wasn't feeling amazing, but he's held on, he's fought, he's still there. Alpha Wilders being moved up left-hand side. Svidal, Quick Stepper played their cards. There is Magnus Cort, wearing number 22 and the yellow jersey. Pink helmet on. His teammate, of course, you can see he's got the Eritrean jersey on the right-hand side, wearing number 25, Kudus, who just did that good job, and he's one of the top climbers in this bunch. He's become a great domestique, but of course he started life as a climber who was going for his own success. He's a top bike rider. Quinton Hermans is still there to lend a hand to his new teammate, Nicola Conchi, as well. Hermans out of the GC now at 6 minutes 58, but he told us early on this week that was planned. Stefan Kung at the back, yeah. 33 on his back and the blue jersey.
Kung, I remember this race last year, he was absolutely flying. He was going like an absolute train, and he was going that well that it was starting to be like, wow, he's going to win absolutely every classic at this race. He's just going like an animal. So he's still there now. Similar situation, he's not at the front as much as he was last year, but this will be a good test for him today to see where he's at compared to last year and the numbers, etc. Similar climb, same race, same climb.
Sort of short climb uphill. It's more false flat uphill, 2-3% gradient here for the next couple of kilometres. We're less than 4 kilometres now to the start of our final climb of this Volta Algarve. Tomorrow's a 25-kilometre long time trial around the town of Lagoa on the coast. And these are the riders who are left. Yellow jersey race leader Magnus Cort. Rui Costa moves up and around him as well. Remember, stealthily riding away as he has done all week. Second, 18 seconds. He's shown back in the days of Rui Costa winning stage races regularly, Tour of Switzerland, etc. If he has to hold on to a leader's jersey on the final day time trial, he's pretty good at that as well. Because riding against the likes of Kung and Ganna, Foss is a different prospect. But we will see. There he is. I think he'll be looking just for a stage win if he can at home first. Not much left, is there now? 5.5 Ks to go.
Yeah, Stefan Kung, who we were just talking about, has just moved up as well on the right-hand side. Bringing his leader to the front. You've got Casper Pedersen right down the back still.
Good ride this from UAE Emirates today. Not just Trentin, but the whole team. They've committed alongside Bora Hansgrohe, and not as easy for them. They've only got, what is it, five riders on the road here. They came with 6. One went home after day 1, Mark Hirschi. It's not as if they've got the full, strong climbing team either. Finn Fisher-Black is a brilliantly young, talented climber from New Zealand at 21 years of age. He's sitting now just alongside João Almeida. And with 5 kilometres to go, it's Matteo Trentin who's doing the lion's share of the work. Five Ks to go, just under 2.5 kilometres before the final ascent of the Alto do Maial. We're about to go over the top of this little lip now, and then that race into the bottom of the climb begins. They've already done it once today. They'll be looking to do it again and set up their top riders. This is the final uphill finish, and we're seeing now one of the teams who normally gets involved here sprinting up the left-hand side as we look at it. It's the red jerseys of Ineos Grenadiers, and they have numbers and names straight back and ready to work.
They have a lot of numbers in there.
It's Laurens de Plus, it's Jonathan Castroviejo. You also have Filippo Ganna, Tom Pidcock and Danny Martinez.
Yeah, that is a lot of firepower. Be interesting to see here on the GC what happens with Pidcock and Ghana, especially. They're one of the 2 highest places out of that team. But Ghana having that time trial tomorrow.
And Martinez here, I mean, he can time trial.
I mean, it's a good team, isn't it?
It's a ridiculously good team.
And with that, we're expecting a stage win, minimum.
Well, they tried the other day. They controlled for most of the climb, actually, on Alto de Foya. But in the end,
Ghana
things got
impressed
out
me
of hand.
Yesterday, especially Ghana in that sprint yesterday, chasing down Magnus Cort, got a little bit blocked behind and then got the gears going, didn't he? And he wasn't too far off, but even from the start of the season, the way he's been climbing this year has been another level up from what he already was last year by the looks of things.
Approaching the final climb of the day, 3 kilometres to go on stage 4 of the Volta Algarve. Who's going to join the likes of Alberto Contador, Richie Porte, Sergio Henao, as well as Michał Kwiatkowski, Elie Gebert in the last couple of years, and Sergio Higuita in winning at the top of this climb that's taken on each and every spring in Portugal. Across this bridge they go. There's a right turn coming up, and then the climbing, the fun is about to begin. Bora Hansgrohe at the front on the right-hand side looking for Jai Hindley. Here's Nathanael Tesfazion for Trek Segafredo. He has Bauke Mollema just a couple of wheels behind him. And if you want to try and take it to the general classification riders and you aren't a time trialist, you really have to launch very early on indeed. And on that front, Jai Hindley's on the wheel now and ready to go. Ilan van Wilder's not too far away as well. You can see that Warren Barguil is up there too. Nicola Conchi in the dark blue jersey. Yellow jersey, race leader, is not far away either, but starting to slip and slime as you can see now. Jai Hindley is at the front, moving, working, trying to ride away and really stretching things out. Adam, the gaps are peaching.
Yep, he wants to make this hard, doesn't he? As soon as he got onto the climb, straight into it, no messing about, and he's trying to put the hurt on straight away. Van Wilder straight on his wheel, one of the Alpecin riders to his right.
Okay, eyes on the prize because there's a gap to the yellow jersey. There is a small gap to the yellow jersey with 2 kilometres to go. And for Magnus Cort, it's about limiting any damage and seeing if he can still be in charge. The first gap looks like it might be about to be closed by his teammate Kudus here, as there's a bit of hesitation in this front group now.
I think it's obviously not helping them having not much wind up here when it's this steep. I said earlier, if they had a tailwind up here, they'd be able to open that gap up quite quickly. And for the other riders like Magnus Cort, having a headwind or a little bit of a crosswind will benefit them more. And you can see this, for example, now. Jai Hindley going on the attack and then just being able to ride their tempo and the gap not being too big, they're able to get back on each time.
That was Conchi on the attack, and that was Pidcock closing it down. Van Wilder in and around him. Tobias Foss is up there, and Magnus Cort is still in charge.
Ghana still in there as well, middle of the screen.
Danny Martinez moving up just behind Filippo Ganna as well. Marquez' challenge starting to fall away for the moment. And Kudus just under loose contract behind as well. Rui Costa right in that front group again, Adam. Now this is Foss who's struggling. Can't quite control and close the wheel. Mollema's on his wheel. Foss radioing in now. In this front group, you've still got Pidcock, Hindley, Van Wilder. Onley's up there as well, I think, for DSM. This, in the meantime, is Magnus Cort, the race leader, just sitting on the wheel of Sebastian Reichenbach, former Swiss champion who rides for Tudor. Stefan Kung is in there. Number 53 here is Kobe Goossens, who's already been on the attack. And now we get an attack. Looks like Sergio Higuita this time.
Yeah, Higuita. Ooh, Pidcock now on the attack. Are they going to follow?
He's already had one little dig. It's Higuita who's trying to close it down now. Foss had just worked his way back on. We're 1.6 kilometres from the finish line. Yellow jersey not in your sight and on his way to losing time, but he's not a million miles off here.
I always forget with Tom Pidcock that he won the Alpe d'Huez stage in the Tour de France. The kid can climb.
Done it in the under-23 races as well. He bossed the baby Giro, didn't he, back at the time? He's taken some other young top climbing talent with him as well. Only follows in the black jersey. This is looking a little bit worse now for the likes of Cort and Kung.
Yeah, for Magnus now, this is the point. Pidcock's still out the saddle.
That's Only who can't hack the pace.
Yeah, I mean, Higuita's dropped off already. This is a solid effort here. Rui Costa's been distanced. He's in the background there with that yellow helmet on, trying to get back on. But this is a great effort by Pidcock.
Yeah, actually, I do Oscar Onley a disservice there, because the dark jersey that we could see from up on high was in fact Sergio Higuita. Only's still there. Higuita's on the back of this group now with Hindley just in front of him. That's Danny Martinez, Joao Almeida and Rui Costa. And it is Rui Costa who's trying to close the gap right now. 1.2 kilometres to go. Pidcock looks round. Van Wilder's with him. Onley's there as well.
Yeah, it's a great move by Pidcock here. He's put the distance into the rivals that he wanted to. I'm sure he'll be quite confident in a sprint against these two, but this is shocked me.
And they're through that 1 kilometre to go barrier. Now, Ilan van Wilder looking around. Oscar Onley, just 20 years of age, from Kelso in Scotland, Adam, looking for his first pro win, and he is in quite the company as we look back to see Magnus Cort. And just in front of Stefan Kung, Valentin Madouas was trying to bring them back up. They're losing time, aren't they now? The yellow jersey could be about to fade away, certainly with the likes of Pidcock and Van Wilder up the front. A reminder that Van Wilder's just 20 seconds from the lead.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if Almeida can bring this back. You can see the change in pace here. Just round that corner, flattens off a tiny bit, not too much, but if they're able to bring this back, it's going to be interesting if they play in the front or not. 'Cause if the riders in the front start playing, then it's going to be game over. They will get caught.
whatever happens, I think it's going to be still very interesting and very close tomorrow, because we're not going to get huge gaps today, but it's coming back here. There aren't gaps here now because Joao Almeida is bringing this back. Rui Costa struggling to hack the pace, and it's Joao Almeida who comes around. Oh, we're going to get some Portuguese passion in the final few hundred metres. It's Almeida who's there, Pidcock on his wheel, then Martinez is there as well. Hidley and Van Wilder trying to come around. Oscar Omni still moves up into third place now.
Yeah, Higuita's just trying everything, rocking and rolling right at the back to get that gap, but these three are going clear.
We look back to the yellow jersey who's losing time. Can Magnus Cort hang on? It'll be get your stopwatches out stuff in a moment. But at the front it's Joao Almeida who's trying to ride away on Portuguese soil. He's carrying the national flag, but look at Higuita coming from behind again. He knows how to win on this mountain and he's trying to do it again. Higuita moving back into shot as it's Joao Almeida who looks around. Higuita now back onto the back wheel and Pidcock flies off the front. Tom Pidcock goes away, flies away, looks around and sees a gap in the road to Joao Almeida. Fighting with a bike, fighting with a gradient, fighting against the whole field. Tom Pidcock against Joao Almeida. The Portuguese fans roar him on, but nobody can do anything to stop Tom Pidcock taking the victory. Pidcock across the line, and now the count back starts to the rest of the field. Pidcock wins stage 4 in the Algarve and is now a candidate to be involved in the shake-up for the general classification. But as are this lot, Foss, Ganna and company are there at 20 seconds as well. Rui Costa's involved too. And we look back now to the yellow jersey, because Magnus Cort, I'm afraid he's going to cede the jersey today. Tom Pidcock right up there. He was there at 26 seconds. We'll have to do all the sums and the counting in just a moment's time. But Tom Pidcock wins the stage. Magnus Cort, after days and days of entertaining us, is going to lose the jersey today, but will still be in the shake-up tomorrow. We are going to have quite the battle for the general classification. But on this hill, not too much separate them, Adam. We had attacks and moves, and when it all came back together, Tom Pidcock powered away from the rest.
He was brilliant then, Tom. I mean, he was the one that opened that gap up originally on the climb. Not the first attacker, but one that made the big difference. And then just coming into the finish, that was a long sprint. About, it wasn't quite 300 metres, but not far off. On terrain like that, you could see him out the saddle the whole way, just giving it everything all the way till the line. But yeah, brilliant to see Tom get his account open for the year.
And just at the right time as well, because he said he wanted to be on it from Omloop at Nieuwsblad all the way to Liège-Bastogne-Liège. And a week before opening weekend, he picks up his first win of the road season. And this is how he did it. Almeida was really strong, wasn't he? Pulled it back, went himself, but Pidcock waited and waited.
Yeah, it was a good move by Almeida, although the acceleration that he had, I don't feel like he needed to do this. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, obviously. But yeah, he opens that gap. You can see Higuita at this point just trying to get back on terms. He looks like he can do so. But don't forget, these guys haven't started accelerated yet. Almeida just concentrating, sitting in the saddle, Pidcock behind out the saddle. Looks across his shoulder. At this point, I think it's around 400 metres to go, 300 metres to go, sorry. Pidcock goes, and there's a late reaction by Almeida. He had to almost take a second to look like he got past, react to Pidcock, and once he got that gap of 4 or 5 metres, that was it really. He brought a little bit back Almeida on Pidcock, but it was just a very long sprint for Pidcock, and one that he thoroughly deserved after those efforts earlier on the climb as well.
Pidcock victorious on the Alto do Maial, joining the likes of Alberto Contador, who've won here in the past. Simply the best on the day. Pidcock ahead of Almeida. And Pidcock now certainly in with a shout of the overall as well. Celebrations for Ineos Grenadiers, who have their stage win and still have plenty of possibilities to try and take the GC tomorrow. And this is a shot of how he did it, up to the top of the Alto do Maial. And Tom Pidcock winning from Joao Almeida and Ilan van Wilder with Igita Inley, Martinez, Onley and company all in the top 10. And look at that, 20 seconds to Vos and Ganna. They are in the game for the time trial tomorrow. And tell you what, don't count out the Dutch time trial champion either, Valke Mollema.